So I would like to welcome everybody to the set of the Poison Podcast. We are joined here today with none other than my cat, Paxton. He has decided to join us. I'm just going to preface this and say that this is going to be an over 18 podcast. So if you're younger than 18, please shut off now. This is not for you. This is for over 18s only, because I am not going to mince my words and I am not going to be exactly who I am, and I am not for a listener younger than 18. I am for an adult. So if you're younger than 18, off you pop. This is not for you. I'm also going to preface this and say that I have ADHD, so I'm going to bounce about from topic to topic. Hopefully it doesn't put people off, but hopefully people that are neurodivergent are gonna feel at home here, because we are all family. This first episode, I can't believe I'm saying that it's finally here, the first episode. I'm going to discuss who I am and what the Poison Podcast is all about. Why I believe you need to listen to this podcast. You may recognize me. You may not. I have been on other podcasts, but I had blonde dreadlocks. I look drastically different for everybody watching now. I now have a throat tattoo. I have long jet black hair. So you might not recognize me. You might recognize me from before. I've done my fair share of speaking. I have had a very colourful life, so to speak, and I decided the time was right to come on and have my own podcast. After I did my previous podcast, everybody was asking me when my own podcast was coming out, because I believe I have a lot to bring to the world, and I believe you need to listen to this because it's going to get fun, it's going to get interesting. Now, the Poison Podcast name came about because Poison part is all about how I believe we as a society, it's nearly like a flip on its head. So we have been sort of brought up to believe and have these sort of rituals and traditions that I necessarily don't really agree with. So I believe that poisoning the young minds faster than bacteria, which is a line from Black Eyed Peas, it's slightly different. It's not exactly quoted from there. But for me, it was like, it makes sense. I want to do that. I want to bring people back to who they were at their former selves before society kind of got their clutches in on them, and I want people to kind of believe in themselves again and to kind of believe in this different path in life. And this is why it's like I'm poisoning the young minds, because we have been led to this place of there's only one path in life and you can kind of only take that. But for me, for everybody out there that already knows who I am, you'll know that I decided not to take that path in life, and I decided to take my own path in life, and I'm just here to be like, you can do the same. The Poison Podcast, it's going to have people from all walks of life. I intend on getting that seat filled with a lot of bums. Now that's going to be their seat. Obviously we all know my gym was called Pink Strength. This is my seat, the pink one. By the way, what do you think of my table? My coffee table is my statement piece. I am obsessed. So getting into it, I have a few running segments of what the podcast is actually going to be about. So we're going to go into different topics. This podcast is going to be the voice for people that I believe don't have a voice. I'm going to be speaking on behalf of those voices, the things I feel passionate about, and actually having members of the public on, whoever they may be, and they're going to be talking about what they feel passionate about. I am not going to silence people. I am not going to, if I disagree with somebody, that's absolutely fine. I believe in educating. I believe in getting your point across and being totally respectful. And that's one thing I want to come away from this podcast, is that I can have somebody on, and I'm going to show it, obviously, whenever I get somebody on. I'm going to disagree with what they say, and I'm going to disagree with them in a really respectful manner. And I think that that's one of the most important things, is that you take away that you can disagree with somebody without having to be disrespectful. We see it all the time. We see people arguing online and calling each other X, Y, and Z. It doesn't need to be that way. It doesn't need to be that way at all. So I'm going to model for you how I believe you should disagree with somebody and go from there. I should probably give you a little bit of information about who I actually am and why I'm on hosting the Poison Podcast. So my name is Megan O'Neill. I am 31 and I'm from Ballycastle in Northern Ireland. You probably never have heard of it. Do you know what this sounds like? If anybody's ever heard of my Big Brother video. Sounds exactly like the introduction to it. I can't say, hi, my name is Megan O'Neill, I'm from Ballycastle, without flipping automatically back into the Big Brother video. And if anybody remembers it, let's not talk about it, because that's a long time in the past. I basically done an audition tape for Big Brother and it went viral. It was a joke, but people took it really seriously, and yeah, it was probably the first time that I realised you get so much fucking hate online, and wow, it was insane. But anyway, moving on. I am a mother, I'm a model, I do OnlyFans, I'm a porn star, I am writing a book, I've had a very colourful life, I'm doing a degree in philosophy and psychology, I'm a gamer, I'm a streamer. You know, where does it end? I have done everything in life that possibly can be done. I've been in every situation in life that you can ever be in, negative and positive. Honestly, I've had a very colourful life. And I feel extremely passionate about these topics I feel passionate about. I switched to Buddhism 10 years ago when my brother was murdered. It's been insane. And from it, I have grown so much as a person that I believe I can just offer a different perspective on things. Because everything I've went through, the main thing that I kept telling myself was that I can use this situation to help somebody else. So my thing in life is always helping people. So I had a private female-only gym, and I've recently just sold it, literally in the past couple of weeks. So I was also a gym owner. I am Irish champion for powerlifting in my weight category. What else? You know, I could rhyme off everything. I'm just trying to give you an idea as to who your host is and why I'm going to be talking about the topics I'm going to be talking about. And I mean, we are going to cover everything. We are going to cover addiction. We're going to cover self-harm. We're going to cover suicide. We're going to cover mental health. We're going to cover oppression, people that are oppressed. We're going to cover abortion. We're going to cover laws. We are going to cover everything. I know a very hot topic for everybody, and this is why I'm always in the podcast talking. I've been on the news, I've been on the TV, I've been on with Tommy Bow and Murren. I've been on talking, I've been on the radio, and everybody wants to know about OnlyFans. So I have said I'm a porn star. I absolutely love my career, and yeah, from that I've been able to sell my gym, come and stay at home with my kids, and start the podcast. So obviously, I don't want to sort of glamorise any sort of industry, and I don't really want to glamorise anything. I just want to come to you with really cold, hard facts about topics and opinions and everything under the sun that I can think of, we're going to talk about. So I'm also going to do a segment on the podcast, an Agony Aunt segment. And I really need everybody's help with this, because I need people to send in their topics, and it can be anything. I will give advice. If we have people on the podcast, we can ask their advice. It's going to be fun. It's going to be lighthearted, but we're also going to be really serious about topics. Anybody that knows me personally knows that I have a very funny, upbeat, humorous sort of side, but I have also a very serious side. And yeah, I can't wait to bring all of that to you guys and to get the listeners in and to get the opinions in. I don't want this to be a one-way thing. I don't want to be talking at my screen. I don't want to be just talking and just listening. I want you to send in emails. I want you to give me feedback. I want you to give me advice. Where do you think we should steer the Poison podcast? Because whilst it's, you know, I am the host of the podcast, that chair's empty, and I need people in to fill that chair, and I need people in to talk, and it doesn't matter what background you're from, who you are, what you've done. We want everybody. We want people on talking that want to tell their story. We want people on that have a different perspective on things. It's going to be a podcast for everybody. It's going to be a voice for everybody, and I can't wait to bring it to you guys. So I need all your Agony Aunt suggestions in. There's also going to be another segment of the podcast that I'm actually really looking forward to, and it's going to be called, I've actually named it, and it's called Poison Mail. I'm sure you can guess from that what it's going to be, but it's going to be hate mail. It's going to be all the hate comments that I've received online, and other people, if I've guests on, they've received it, we're going to bring them up and we're going to talk about it, because I think that, you know, I feel very passionate about bullying, and I feel very passionate about people being horrible to other people online, especially if they don't know them. I always say that if somebody presents to me with anger or with bullshit, I won't accept it if I haven't done anything to that person. So we're going to talk about it all. We're going to bring it up, and we are going to raise the roof. This is going to be a podcast. We are not going to mince our words. We are not going to censor things. We are going to raise the roof on topics that I believe and that I don't believe need raised on. So it's not about me, it's about you guys, I just know I have the platform to get it out there and to get talking about it. So please send me advice, send me your interests, send me things you would like to hear on the Poison Podcast, and we will get talking about it. And I can't wait to meet all the new guests that are going to be on. I have people lined up already, and it's going to be exciting. It's going to be released every Tuesday at 7 p.m, so keep an eye out for it. It's going to be on the Poison Podcast Instagram. I'm going to have set up a Spotify account. We're going to do YouTube. We're going to do everything. And we are going to raise the roof on all these fucking topics that need to be talked about. I can't wait to hear from you guys.
No.